بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب زدني رب يسر ولا تيسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين وفتح يا دين عليم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعن هلال بن أسامة عن أبي ميمونة سليمان مولى لأهل المدينة قال بينما أنا جالس مع أبي هريرة جاءته امرأة فارسية معها ابنها وقد طلقها زوجها فادعياه فرتلت له تقول يا أبا هريرة زوجي يريد أن يلتقي استمنا عليه وكان لها بذلك فجاء زيدنا وقال ما يحقني ابني قال أبو هريرة اللهم إني لا أقول هذا إلا أني كنت قائما مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فأتت امرأة فقالت يا رسول الله إن زوجي يريد أن يذهب بي وقد نفعني وساقني من بئر أبي عنبة وعند النسائي من عذب الماء فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم استلما عليه فقال زوجها من يحقني من يحقني من ولدي فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم هذا أبوك وهذه أمك فخذ بيد أيما شئت فأخذ بيد أمي رواه أبو داود والنسائي لكنه ذكر المسلم رواه الدارمي عن هلال بن أسامة. So Hilal ibn Osama narrates from Abi Maymuna Sulaiman was one of the parents for the people of Medina.
One of the freedmen of the people of Medina.
So he said once I was sitting with Abu Hurairah with Allah, a woman came, a Persian woman came to him, and with her was a son. Her husband had divorced her, so they discussed, and she said that. So I think that she said that, oh, Abu Hurairah, that my husband wants to take this son away from me. So Abu Hurairah said that you should cast lots between the two of you. So he narrated this to her. So her husband came and he said that you have to teach me what is my right with regards to my son.
Who is disputing with me for the right of my son?
My son. So Abu Hurairah said, Allahumma inni la aqulu Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say this except that once I was sitting with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and a woman came to him and she said, Allah, indeed my husband wants to take my son away from me and he has provided for me and he has given me from the well of Abu Inaba to drink, or he said in Nazeer, from sweet water.
Sweet water.
So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that the two of you should fast Lord. So her husband said that he is disputing with me with regard to my child. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, to your child, this is your father and this is your mother. So take with the hand of whichever one you want. So he took the hand of his mother or with the hand, and the son says that this also mentioned in this
So this hadith also discloses that some of the Sahaba Ikram radiallahu ta'ala, they could speak other languages that were not Arabic, because as you know, the lady was a Persian language, and she came there and they were speaking in Persian language, and the sub-narrator said that we never understood, they were talking in some different language. The boy mentioned in this hadith was also of a bigger boy, so he was given a choice. He wasn't a minor or infant. It is clear that he was almost an adult because he fetched water from far places outside the city. No mother would send a minor child to fetch water from a distant place. Kitabul Itq, emancipation, setting a slave free. So from the point of Sharia, freedom is that ability that lets a man have his inherent right. He thus becomes eligible to take over as a master or a leader, or he is now worthy of bearing testimony. Right? What is the prerequisite for setting a slave free? To set a slave free, the person who sets him or her must be the owner, or he must be in authority. He must be independent. He must be an adult, must be a saint, and most of them for all, he must be the owner of the slave that is setting free. The kinds of freedom, in some cases, it is wajib to set a slave free, like kafara, right? Expiation. In some cases, it is a sin. And what is the example? Example is like when there is the likelihood that if you slip the slave free, then you will run away to Darul Harb and you will maybe join the army of the kuffar, or you will, what you call, become a murtad, or you will turn into a highway robber. Then it is not permissible to set the slave free. In some cases, it's permissible, like a slave is released to make sadaqatul jariyah on somebody else, or and in some places it is ibadat. When a slave is set free solely and only for the sake of Allah Ta'ala. So sometimes it is wajib, like kafara. Sometimes it is a sun, when the person is going to become rebellious, is going to become a murtad, is going to become a kafir, is going to become a highway robber. Sometimes it is permissible. You set him free that, okay, you make it a reward for somebody else. And sometimes it is ibadat for yourself when you set him free for the sake of Allah Ta'ala. Salam.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن ابي هريره رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: من اعتق رقبه مسلمه اعتق الله بكل حجر منه عدوا من النار خرجه بفتحه متفق عليه. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrates Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, whoever prays a Muslim says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prays from every limb of these, for a limb of these, from the fire and death, to the extent that even his private parties can come.
Yeah, so every, like when you free a slave, for every portion, the hand that was freed, your hand gets freed. His other foot was freed. So like this, the whole body gets saved. The slave has been defined here as a Muslim because the reward is increased for Muslim. Otherwise, there is a reward for setting free a non-Muslim slave also, but there is much more reward for a Muslim slave. Some ulama has stated here, because of the specific mention of the private part. What it says there, hatta farjahu bi farjihi, that it's better for a male to set a male free and for female to set a female free, because the male private part will be set free for the slave and for the male, and the female for the female. But to set any slave free.
وعن ابي ذر رضي الله عنه قال سالت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بالعمل افضل قال الايمان بالله والجهاد في سبيل الله قال قلت فاي الرقاب افضل قال اغلاها ثمنا وان ترثها عند اهلها قلت فان لم افعل قال تعين صانعا او تصنع الاقرب قلت فان لم افعل قال تدع الناس من الشر فإنها صدقة تصدق بها على نفسك متفق عليه. Abu Dharr radiallahu anhu narrated that asked Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam which action is the most virtuous. He said, believing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and jihad the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he said, so which slave is the most virtuous? He said, the one whose price is very high and his ear or his esteem in the eyes of his people. So he said, that if I cannot do that, can I free such a slave? Then what shall I do? So he said, assess the worker or assess the one who is unskilled. So I said, and if I'm unable to do that, then he said, then tell us and then free the people or lead the people from do not harm the people.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah, spare the people from your mischief. It is a sadaqah, right? So obviously, it is obvious that iman is the best deed. Without iman, no deed would be accepted, right? Then jihad is, it gives strength to the religion, and Muslims become supreme to it. Jihad could also mean to toil hard, to strive to the utmost, right? To exert yourself. Then abstaining from causing harm to others. Do not get involved in evil. Do not hurt others with your tongue and hands, and do not cause them loss of any kind. Abstaining from these things is also being good and spreading blessings More so when one abstains from evil in spite of having the power to do it. You abstain, you hold yourself back when you're in a position of doing that evil. One is you say that, if I was the ruler, if I was the ruler. But you're not the ruler, so you don't have that ability. But now when you are in that position and then you hold yourself back, then you get the extra reward.